So let's now talk about the problems that can arise when we use too many callback functions. And to do that, we're gonna do a small example to illustrate this effect. Now remember that if you're already familiar with the promises and async await, and in general asynchronous JavaScript, please feel free to just skip this section and mark all the videos as completed so that you can still get to 100% completion of the course. But if you want to learn all about asynchronous JavaScript and how to use it in Node.js, then let's move on. So go ahead and get the starter files for this project from the course files. I already have it here on my desktop, so this folder here, and it's only this file in there, so that's all we're going to need to get started. And I have it here in VS Code already opened, and what we're going to do to start is to just create an index.js file, just like before. Now what we're going to do is this. We're going to use this doc file here, this text file, and from here we will read the doc breed, and then we are going to do an HTTP request to get a random image of a doc with this breed, and then save that random image to another text file. So it's a 3-step process, and all of these will involve callback functions, and by the end we will see the problem that we have when we use all these callback functions inside of one another. Okay, so for that we're going to use quite a popular API, which is more like a fun API, but for this kind of stuff it's a good idea to use it. So it's the doc.ceo API. So just hit doc API here, then over here the documentation, and what we want is to get a random doc for a certain breed. So click by breed here, and down here is the API endpoint that we're gonna hit. So it's this URL here. So when you click on fetch here, each time you get a new image. Okay, and so in this section we're actually going to do HTTP requests just like we learned about before in the previous section. Okay, so all we will have to do is to create an HTTP request to this URL, and then it will get us back an image. Okay, but for now let's actually start with the part where we read the file and get the content of that file. So in our index.js, again we need the file system package or module. So fs, and require the fs module here. Then just like before, we do fs.read file, and we do the asynchronous version. Okay, remember that in here we pass the location of the file and then a callback function, which will be called as soon as we're done reading the file. So we have our template string here, and then we use the dir name, just like we did before. So the name of the current directory /doc.txt. Okay, and then our callback function, which the first argument as always is the error, and then the data that actually is in the file. And just to make sure, let's log it to the console, of course. So another template string so that we can nicely output our data here. Okay, start up the terminal here and bring it up a little bit. And so I'm using nodemon just like I did before, and then index.js. Okay, so breed is retriever, and that is exactly what we have here in this file. Okay, so retriever is the breed that we will be looking for. Now inside this callback function, we want to do that HTTP request that we just talked about before. And there's actually ways of doing it with native Node.js modules, but it's easier to just use an npm package for that. And there are many again, but the one we're going to use is called superagent. Later on we're going to use another one, but for now superagent is just fine for that. Okay, and in order to actually download this module using npm, we're going to start by creating our package.json file. Remember that? So let me just finish this and do npm init, and just hit enter on all of these. This doesn't really matter, okay? We just want this package.json file so that it actually holds the name of the package that we're using. So we always do that whenever we start a new project. And now npm install, or we can just use di, which is the same, and then the name of the package. So nothing new there, right? Now to use this package, we create a new variable which will then contain the superagent function that this module exposes to us. Let's now go ahead and actually use that superagent function. So for doing a GET request, we simply use the GET method on it. So GET, and then we need that URL. Okay, so this one that I showed you before. So just copy it and paste it here into a template string, because now we are actually going to replace this breed here. Okay, so we don't want that, but instead we want to use it, the one that we get from our file. So in this case, it's data, right? And so like this, we can actually do a HTTP GET request. Now to then get the data, we actually will also have to use the AND method on this. And this is then where we are going to pass in the callback function. So again, it's an arrow first callback, and then we pass in the result as well. And so in this function, let's first of all log the result to the console. So the data that we get is in the response variable, so this one here, and then on that is the body. So that's where the actual response is. Okay, and let's actually go ahead and test that. And now with the save here, it actually moved down. So again, that's because of the prettier extension that we set up earlier. And maybe you also noticed how it replaced the normal quotes that I had here with these double quotes, and also it inserted the semicolon up here. And actually in the last section, or in one of the last sections, we set it up so that we always have the single quotes, okay? And so in order to keep our code consistent here, let's actually go ahead and very quickly create the prettier config file. So remember, that's prettier RC. Then in there, we have single quote, set it to true, and also remember the print width, and set it to 80. Okay, give it a save. Save this one again, and so you see we have our single quotes now back. So that looks a lot nicer in my opinion. Again, if you don't like it this way, you can of course use your own settings. All right. Anyway, this piece of code here should now already be doing the HTTP request. So let's actually test that out. And indeed, we actually have this image here. So actually what we want is inside of this body in the message property. So dot message. So just like this. And so here we have our retriever image. Let's go ahead and actually change the breed here. And I'm not really good with dogs. Let's just use this breed here that I know, Labrador. I don't even know how to say it. But I think it exists. Let's give it a save here again. And so now we have another image. We can actually click this here, and it will open that image for us. Okay, so for doing this HTTP request here, we needed the data that we got before. So this piece of data. And so we needed to do this request here inside of this callback function of the read file function, right? And so we already have a callback function here, so this one, inside a callback. But now we will actually add another one, because now we want to save this string here into a new text file. And so we will do that here, and then that again will have yet another callback function. Okay, makes sense? So fs, write file, and then the name of the file, let's call that one dogimage.text. Then the data we want to save to that file, which is res.body.message, and then the callback function. And this one won't have any data, of course, but we have the error again. So here let's just log something to the console like random dog image saved to file. Give it a save, it will then rerun, and here is our image file. And actually you can see that VS Code displays that image here for us. Give it another save here. It will then rerun our code, and now we have a different image. All right, so our code is actually working. Let's just add a small error handle here in case something goes wrong. For example, let's say we add some weird name in here. Run this again. And so right now it's not going to be able to find an image for that. And that will actually result in an error here. So we should always do this kind of error handling in the beginning and say, so if there was an error, and we can just log error.message. And actually we should also say that we want to return right away from this function if there's an error. So it will return and log to the console this error, and nothing else will happen then. Okay? So it says again, not found here, and it didn't save anything to the file because we already returned from the function up here. Okay? And the same actually down here in case there is an error saving the file to disk. Let's go back here, give it another save, and so now it's working just fine again. Okay? So this is just a small example to show you how easy it is to end up with callbacks inside of callbacks inside of callbacks. And that's of course because we already know that in Node.js we should always use asynchronous code, right? We then end up using callbacks inside of callbacks inside of callbacks, and sometimes it can go even deeper, of course, than what we have here. You could of course have like 10 levels inside of each other. Now all these callbacks, they make our code look a bit messy, makes it difficult to understand, and also in general hard to maintain. Again, maybe not at this level with just 3 callbacks inside of each other, but if we had it even deeper nested, it could quickly become a nightmare to maintain code like this. And that's why this pattern has been called callback hell. It's easy to identify this triangular shape in our code, so what we have here, like this sort of triangular shape. Whenever you see this, it's a sign that you're basically in callback hell. Okay? And you will maybe see or hear this term when you do some Node.js research or something like that. But right now, this is actually the only way that we know of how to write asynchronous code at this point. But we are going to save that throughout the rest of this small section. So we're going to learn how to use something called promises. And that will then in the end solve our problem and make our code easier to read and to maintain. So let's go do that in the rest of the section.